Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This is Motion Mister. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this scroll animation in After Effects procedurally entirely in After Effects. That's it. We're not going to be using any third-party plugin. We're not going to be using any third-party assets. All these will be created in After Effects, and you can also do it by yourself. It's actually very simple to create. You just need to like follow whatever that I'm doing. If you like to replicate this, just follow along all the assets that we're going to be downloading. We're going to be downloading together on Google, and we can create this together in no time. So you have to get your PC started and get your After Effects working, and let's get right into the tutorial. Now, before we move on, let's try to break down the animation and see what we got so that we can know what we need to do. So you can see that what we have on this side, entirely on this side, this is also what we have on this side, except that this is rolling to the left and this here is rolling to the right. So we need to create this sphere here. We need to create a cylinder, a cylindrical shape that connects to another sphere at the bottom. Then we need to duplicate this and bring it, allow it to roll to the right. Then we also need to have this paper here, wrap around this cylindrical object here. The same thing for here. And after that, we need to just create a wipe animation for the paper such that by the time these guys are rolling, the paper is also rolling out. And if, I mean, it's also rolling in. And if they are rolling out, the paper is also rolling out. And we have a very nice animation. And we can also see that there is a shadow here and there is an overall shadow at the back of the scroll animation. We're also going to be doing that. So let's get right into it. So we know the things we need to download now. We need to download and hold paper texture. We need to download a wooden texture for our sphere and our cylindrical object. And that's all. So let's get right into Google and download these assets. So I'm going to go to my Google. I'm going to type, okay, wood texture PNG. You can see the different, go to images. You can see there are different wood textures there, different ones. So you can actually download any one that you like. If you want the exact same feel, or you want to follow exactly what I'm doing, you can also download what I'm downloading. But if not, you can just be at liberty to choose whatever that you want to choose. I think my network is a little bit slow. Okay, so now this is a very good texture. So we're just going to download this. I'm just going to save it. I have almost the same thing downloaded. I'm just downloading it again so that you can follow along. All right, so that's downloaded. Let's download hold paper texture. Hold paper texture. Hold paper texture. Yeah. So we can see different hold paper textures there. So let's just find a very good one and download. Very good one. Yeah, this feels like a good one, but I doubt if the resolution is going to give us what we want. So let's scroll down and find another one with a good resolution. I think this should make sense. This one from Unsplash should make sense, but the resolution is bad. So we're not going to be okay. Okay, so we have a good resolution here. So let's just save this one from Unsplash. It's AVIF. So download it. Now, these are the two things that we need to download and get started in After Effects. So after downloading let's hop into After Effects and begin uh, the animation. So first things first, let's create a new composition. I'm going to create a new project. So new project, I don't save. Create a new composition. So your composition, make it landscape. Yeah, make it high definition landscape, and you can make maybe put your duration in 10 minutes or 30 minutes. So I'm going to leave it at 30 minutes, and you know these other settings they don't really matter. So the first thing I'm going to do is import my asset, so my paper and my wood texture. Okay. Okay, so this is my wood texture and this is my paper. So let's bring in our wood texture. Let's scale it down. Let's scale it down. And we need a kind of spherical shape. So let's add CC sphere. And okay, so this is it. This is a spherical shape. So you know, we can just walk around the radius and make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. We can always adjust this one later. So now because we need two of this, so we're just going to duplicate it. So let's rename it. In fact, let me rename it first. So call it sphere, then duplicate it. So sphere one, sphere two. Then we're also going to get another duplicate. Then we rename this one to cylinder. Now we're going to remove the sphere effect from this cylinder. And since we need a cylinder, we are going to use a CC cylinder. All right. Now there is a problem with this CC cylinder effect on our cylinder object here. You can see that the cylinder is cut off, but we don't want that. So because of that, we're going to delete this effect here, and we're going to pre-compose our cylinder. So we'll call it cylinder comp, and we move all attributes to new composition. Then we go into the composition and we have to reduce, come into composition settings and reduce the width to something like say 700. You can do 800, that's fine too. All right. So and you can scale it up a little bit, then go back to your comp and add your CC cylinder. Now you can see there's a difference. Your cylinder is looking more like a cylinder because we have this curvature here instead of being cut off compared to what we had initially. Now we we have our sphere and we have the cylinder, but you can see that the cylinder is really big, so we have to reduce the radius. We have to bring it down such that it's almost roughly the same size as her sphere. So now let's bring this sphere to the location that we need them to be. So let's hit on position. Now we need to bring one down. So let this one come down. And we need to bring the other one up. So let it come up. Now we need our cylinder comp to be layered on top of all these two. Now you can see there is a problem here. And the problem is that the shading on our cylinder is different from the shading on this face, and that means that it's looking totally different. So we need to correct the shading, and we just need to, because I already like the shading on my sphere. In fact, I'm going to make my spheres bigger. I'm going to make them bigger. So scale them up a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that. Like that. Okay, maybe I can make the cylinder also a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good. All right. Now, once we correct the shading, you can see we're going to have something really nice. Now, so because I already like the shading on my sphere, so I'm just going to copy the shading on my sphere and put it, I'll paste it on the cylinder. Then we can have something uniform. So to do that, we're going to correct two different attributes. We're going to correct the lighting attribute. I'm going to correct the shading attribute. So let's go to the lighting attribute. What do we have here? We are on supposed to rename this sphere. Okay, so we're on the sphere. We're on sphere. So let's get to the lighting. You can see that we have 40. The light height is 40. The light direction is minus 85. So we can come to cylinder comp, go to lighting. We can light height is 40. Light direction is minus 85. All right. So we can see that it's already looking almost similar. So then let's go to the shading and correct the shading as well. So the shading here, we have the ambient, the diffuse, the specular, and the roughness. Then this is 10, this is 100, this is 10, this is zero point 0.05. So we're going to copy this shading settings. I'm going to paste it on our cylinder comp. So now this is ambient. The ambient for the sphere is 10, the diffuse is 100, the specular is 10, and the roughness is zero point 0.05. So let's change that. This is 10, this is 100, this is 10, this is zero point 0.05. Now we can see we have a very good handle for we have a very good handle for our scroll wheel. So what we need to do now is create a paper wrap around this cylinder and sphere that we have created here. So how do we do that? You should already know. We are going to drop in our paper. We're going to drop in our paper on top of this. We're going to scale it down a little bit. It's roughly this the size that we want. I think this is okay. So I think this is okay. Yeah. So we're also going to pre-comp this because if we just had the 60 cylinder effect to it, it's you see, we're going to have sharp edges here, which we don't want. So let's pre-comp it. Let's pre-comp it. So we call it paper comp, and we can now add our 60 cylinder effect on it, and it's looking good. But we don't want that because the same problem that we encountered the other time, it's too wide. So let's go into the composition and change the composition settings such that the width is a little bit less. Yeah, that's very good. So let's now go into the paper comp. Now let's drop our 60 cylinder. Now we have something very good. All right, so let's also reduce the radius to the radius that we want. All right, I think this is good. Let me check the rotation on the y-axis. The rotation is quite okay. The rotation is quite okay. So let me set it back to 0. Now, the challenge that we have now with the paper is we need to also correct the light and the shading such that we have the same lighting and shading on the paper as we have on our scroll handle. So you remember this is 40 and this is minus 85. And we're going to go to the shading, correct the ambient, which is 10, change the diffuse to 100, change the specular to 10, and change the roughness to zero point 0.05. Now we have a really nice scroll handle with our paper wrapping around the handle. So what we need to do now is to make make the paper animate to whatever direction that we want it to animate to. Now to do that, we need a controller. So we had a new null object. All right, so this is a null object here. And to this null object, we can add a slider control. We can add a slider control like this. All right. So now you can see that if you want to rotate any of these objects here, because we have CC cylinder or CC sphere effect on them, we are going to rotate them on the Y axis. Yeah, that is what we want. So we need to rotate them on the Y axis. So we need to pick whip the Y axis rotation to the slider control that we just created. So to do that, we're going to alt click on this rotation Y. So it's going to give you this. So we need to pick whip this to the slider control. You can see. So if I change this slider control, it's going to affect the rotation for this. Get back to 0. So I've done this for the paper comp. I'm also going to do it for the cylinder comp. So come to the rotation, Y rotation, alt click on this and pick whip the rotation expression to the slider. Now if I change this, you can see that it's not only my paper that is rotating, my cylinder is also rotating. But I want this first to also rotate, so I'm going to do the same thing for the two first. So come to rotation, rotation, alt click on this, then come here, pick whip this to the slider control. Do the same thing for the second sphere. Alt click on the rotation, pick whip, connect to the slider control. Now, if you see, if I rotate my slider control, is affecting the Y rotation for all of the objects. But there is a problem. My paper and my cylinder, they're rotating in a different direction to the spheres, and we want them to rotate in the same direction. Now you can see that my spheres are rotating clockwise, but my cylinder and my paper are rotating anti-clockwise. So to make sure that they rotate in the same direction as the spheres, I'm just going to come here and add a negative and add minus to just come to this Y rotation here, then add minus. So it's going to make it rotate in the opposite direction to where it's rotating before. So do add minus to this too. Now if I rotate, come to my controller. Let me rename this to controller. So come to my controller, you can see now we are rotating in the same direction. That's very good. So at this point, you might want to save your project. So just Control S and scroll video or scroll preset, anyone that you want. Just rename it how you want to. Now, I want to rotate and also move all of this to the right or to the left as I want. So I'm going to just highlight all of this and parent them to my controller. So such that if I change the rotation, if I change the position of this controller, say move it, it's going to move all my objects. So I'm going to create a keyframe at the start and maybe go to 1.5 seconds. Yeah, that's enough for the animation. We can bring the position to the right. I think I like this here. So, all right. All right. You can see that it's only moving, it's not rotating. So we need to also rotate it. All right. So I'm just going to come to the slider here and rotate by 360 such that my Yeah, you can see that it's rotating by 360. That's really nice. So, all right. Now we can play with the keyframe easing and all of that later. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Now you can see that we have created the right scroll uh, scroll handle animation. We have to create the same thing for the left, but we're not going to be going through all of that process again. So we just need to really now create a new composition. Let's call this new composition. Let's call it lefts. Let's call it left. Since this one is going to the right, let's call that one left. So this is, I can rename this to right. This is the original composition. So I can rename this to right. And I can copy all of this and I can bring it to the left and paste everything here. Now, what do I need to do here? Play I need to play with the controller such that I'm not moving to the right again. I'm now moving to the left. So let's open up the keyframes that we have here. So come here. So instead of a positive value here, we need to go to the, I mean, instead of coming to the right, we need to go to the left. So what do? We bring this back to the left. We bring this back to the left. All right. I think that makes sense. So we can call this 360. 360. Yeah. Okay. 360. That's about minus 600 from the initial position. So 360. Now, we also need to change the rotation to a negative value so that we are rotating to the left instead of, we're rotating counterclockwise instead of clockwise. So we can see, we can see that's really nice. So we need to now create a new composition where we're going to have all these two compositions together, the left and the right compositions together. All right. So if I play it, you already see we have a very nice animation going on here, and this is really cool. I love this. I love this. We're going to have to play with the easing and all that later, but now we can just. So the next thing is to bring in our paper comp. Where's our paper comp? Okay. So this is our paper comp. Bring it in and size. We increase the size a little bit, decrease the size a little bit, and make it longer on the x axis. Okay, and just adjust it to give you something good. All right, so we got this. We got this. Now let's create the wipe animation for the paper. So we're going to add linear wipe to the paper. And we're going to duplicate this linear white animation. So such that one is wiping from right and the other one is wiping from the left. So to do that, we're just going to reverse the wipe angle for this. All right. So at the start, we expect the wipe animation to be 50% complete here and 50% complete here. So by the time we are done with the scrolling, we expect this to be 100%. I mean, we expect this to go back to 0%. So we're supposed to create a keyframe. We're supposed to create a keyframe. All right, so we expect this to go back to 0%, and this also to go back to 0%. So apparently, we need to increase the scale on the x axis. Okay. Now we have a very good animation. We have a very good animation, and I think this is cool. All right, so we just need to sorry. So we just need to get here and look at the exact time so that we can match that with, so that's 1 minute 20 frames. So the main comp now, we need to come here. This is 1 minute 20 frames. 1 minute 20 frames. Okay, so we have a very good scroll animation. Now, a couple of things are needed. We need to add a shadow here. So what we have here is a left. So we need to just duplicate this, move it here a little bit, and move it under this first one, and rename it to left shadow. Then bring a fast box blur effect on it. Then we change the blur radius to something. 12 is okay, I guess. 12 is okay. So we can see this shadow here. And we can also create shadow for the whole animation. But before we do that, I think I'm going to create a very nice background for it. So I have a background here. So just drop it down. And I think this is very cool. I might just change the background to something more befitting, something, yeah, maybe something a little bit, yeah, whiter. Yeah, I think this is cool. I like this. So this is what we have. So we can now. This is looking, it's looking fine. Yeah, but I want to create something like a jagged edge for my paper. So because of that, I'm going to solo my paper. So I'm going to solo my paper, then come here and create something like a masking effect for my paper. Should have done that before even creating this whole thing. But I mean, sometimes you don't think too much about these effects until you're done with them, and you want some other nice things to be added. So now I'm going to drop a roughing edges effect here. So I'm just going to increase the roughing edges and increase the scale a little bit, and the complexity, increase the complexity to something like this. And I think we should have something better. Yeah, I think this looks better overall, and perhaps we can add some curves to make it pop a little bit more. Some curves on the paper. Yeah, Yeah, I think this is not bad. This is not bad at all. Yeah. So this, my friends, is how to create a scroll animation. I mean, like I said, if you want to create a shadow for the whole animation, you can also do that. So what you need to do to create that shadow is just this entire, we can duplicate this, or I mean we can pre-compose this, or all of this, and call it shadows. In fact, let me create a shadow. Let me create a shadow. So we come to our main comp. Let me rename this to main comp. Main comp. We come to our main comp and we copy this. We'll come to, let me rename this to shadows. So we come to our shadow, then our main comp. So we copy, come to a shadow, we paste the left. I don't want this. So I can now come to my main comp and bring in this shadow to the bottom here, and maybe bring it down a little bit and add a fast box blur to it. So such that we have this, and maybe I can add a tint effect to it to make it black. Yeah. So you can see that this creates a very nice animation, for a very nice depth, a sense of depth for the scroll. So this is how to create a scroll animation in After Effects. You can see everything that we have created is procedural, and if you like, you can also, you know, you can also change a few things. You can use a different texture. You can play with the easing so that you have a more dramatic animation. And the word is your canvas. Just make art. Make art. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to keep making videos like this for you. So until next time, enjoy.